Throughout history, ideas about racial differences in intelligence have been used to justify some pretty horrific practices: colonialism, slavery, and absurd theories like eugenics, to name a few. Influential thinkers like Arthur de Gobineau and even Enlightenment figures like Thomas Jefferson promoted the idea that black people were innately inferior. Today, the scientific community largely agrees that race is a social construct, and studies have shown that differences in intelligence are often linked to environmental factors, socioeconomic status, and educational opportunities. In this video, we'll talk about 25 brilliant minds who demonstrated that when the veil of racism is lifted, only then can we truly appreciate the boundless potential of the human intellect. From child prodigies and doctors to some of the most skilled mathematicians, we've covered it all, so stay tuned. Point 25. Alana George. Starting with Alana George. At just 4 years old, Alana made headlines as the UK's second youngest Mensa member, with an impressive IQ of 140. This young genius from Evere, Buckinghamshire, didn't just learn to read before starting school, she even taught herself by the time she was 18 months old. Obsessed with words and numbers, Alana preferred reciting the alphabet and times tables over singing nursery rhymes. Alana has been described as an intellectual genius. Her mother shared that by 18 months, Alana was already speaking in full sentences, and by the age of 3, she was reading entire paragraphs from her favorite books. Point 24. Anala Beaver. Not to be confused with Alana, the New Orleans native with an IQ over 145, Anala Beavers, is one of the brightest young minds in the world. By the age of just 5, Anala had already mastered the alphabet, could count in both English and Spanish, and could recite all the U.S. states and capitals. Anala's brilliance shines through in everyday moments. She's even been known to correct her parents' grammar. She's also fascinated by volcanoes and astronomy, and has even taken up art. At just 4 years old, she was invited to join Mensa, placing her in the top 1% of the world's smartest people. Point 23. Cash Quest. Next up, we have Cash Quest from California, who made history as the youngest member of American Mensa at just 2 years old, with an astounding IQ of 146. While most toddlers are busy playing with toys, Cash was speaking in full sentences by 18 months, mastering both Spanish and American Sign Language, and learning to name all 50 U.S. states, continents, and even elements on the periodic table. Now at 6 years old, she's not only ready for first grade but also has her own Instagram channel, where she shows her followers how to solve math problems and more. Point 22. Caleb Anderson. Number 22 is Caleb Anderson, who made history by becoming the youngest black male to join Mensa at just 3 years old. Caleb's brilliance was apparent from the very beginning. By just 4 weeks old, he was already mimicking speech. Fluent in multiple languages, including Mandarin, Spanish, French, and Sign Language, Caleb also graduated high school at the age of 11 and enrolled in college shortly after. At 12 years old, Caleb was a sophomore at Chattahoochee Technical College in Georgia, where he was majoring in aerospace engineering. And now at 15, he has already completed an internship at Lockheed Martin, becoming their youngest ever employee. 21. Rari Wilfred. Last but certainly not least on our list of child prodigies is Rari Wilfred, the 11-year-old genius from London who shocked the world with an IQ score of 162, higher than the likes of Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, and Stephen Hawking. At just 10 years old, Rari was already writing academic papers on justice theory, earning recognition from top scholars. Rari's brilliance became evident early on. At the age of 11, he aced an IQ test, placing him in the top 1% of the population and gaining him an invitation to join Mensa as well. Point 20. Dr. Philip M Imig. Moving on to the doctorates, Dr. Philip M Imig, often called the Bill Gates of Africa, was born in Nigeria in 1954 and rose to prominence against incredible odds, in a country at war. At just 14 years old, he was forced to drop out of school due to financial struggles, but his father took it upon himself to continue Philip's education at home. Inspired by the natural world, particularly the honeycomb structure of bees, Philip made history in 1989 when he created the world's fastest computer, capable of performing 3.1 billion calculations per second. His work is still used today in weather forecasting and climate change predictions. 19. Dr. May Jemison. Next up, we have Dr. May Jemison, who made history in 1992 when she became the first black woman to travel into space aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour. But May's achievements go far beyond that. A woman of many talents, she's a physician, engineer, and former Peace Corps officer who has made remarkable strides in science, medicine, and education. She graduated from Stanford University with degrees in chemical engineering and African American studies, and then earned her medical degree from Cornell University. In 1987, she was accepted into NASA's astronaut program, where she studied the effects of motion sickness and weightlessness on the human body, and when Endeavour launched in 1992, May orbited Earth for nearly 8 days as a mission specialist. 18. Dr. Charles R. Drew. Then there's Dr. Charles Drew, who revolutionized the field of medicine by pioneering the development of large-scale blood banks, a breakthrough that saved countless lives during World War II and beyond. His expertise in blood preservation laid the foundation for modern transfusion medicine, and his work earned him the distinction of being the first black man to receive a doctorate from Columbia University. In the field of education, the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science in Los Angeles, and numerous schools across the United States honor his name. He remains an inspiration for generations of doctors, scientists, and students who carry forward his mission to improve healthcare for all. 17. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. Number 17 is Drive Daniel Hale Williams, who made history not only as one of the first surgeons to successfully perform open-heart surgery, but also as a trailblazer in the fight for racial equality in medicine. In 1893, he operated to repair a severe stab wound to a patient's heart. This placed him among the early pioneers of cardiac surgery. Beyond his surgical achievements, Dr. Williams was committed to improving health care for African Americans and creating opportunities for black medical professionals, and in 1891, he founded Provident Hospital in Chicago, the first interracial hospital in the United States. 16. Dr. Marie M. Daly. Next up is Dr. Marie Maynard Daly. She made history as the first black woman in the United States to earn a Ph.D. in chemistry. Daly's research focused on cholesterol and its impact on heart disease, playing a crucial role in our understanding of cardiovascular health. Her studies not only advanced medical science but also highlighted the importance of cholesterol in relation to hypertension, muscle cell function, and protein synthesis. Daly's influence extended beyond her research. Deeply committed to increasing diversity in the scientific community, she dedicated her life to mentoring students and creating scholarships that provided opportunities for underrepresented individuals in the field. Her legacy continues to inspire aspiring scientists, particularly women and minorities, encouraging them to pursue their passions in STEM. 15. Dr. George Robert Carruthers. Then we have Dr. George Carruthers, a pioneering African-American space physicist and engineer. Best known for developing a compact and powerful ultraviolet camera or a spectrograph for NASA's Apollo 16 mission in 1972, Carruthers's innovations helped capture crucial images of celestial phenomena, including molecular hydrogen in space. Carruthers developed a passion for science and space at a young age, building his first telescope at just 10 years old. He excelled academically, ultimately earning a Ph.D. in aeronautical and astronautical engineering from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Carruthers's career took off when he became the first E.O. Hulbert postdoctoral fellow at the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, where he invented an image converter that revolutionized ultraviolet imaging. 14. Dr. Alexa Canady. The last one for the doctors is Dr. Alexa Canady, who made history as the first female African-American neurosurgeon in the United States. Canady pursued her passion for medicine by earning both her bachelor's and medical degrees from the University of Michigan. She completed her residency at the University of Minnesota, becoming the first black woman to achieve this feat in the field of neurosurgery. Canady's career flourished at the Children's Hospital of Michigan, where she served as chief of neurosurgery from 1987 until her partial retirement in 2001. After retiring in 2001, Canady moved to Florida but continued to practice part-time at Sacred Heart Hospital in Pensacola until her full retirement in January 2012. Ben Carson. Benjamin Solomon Carson Sr. is a retired neurosurgeon, academic, author, and politician who served as the 17th United States Secretary of Housing and Urban Development from 2017 to 2021. At just 33 years old, he made history as the youngest chief of pediatric neurosurgery in the United States. His career skyrocketed in 1987 when he led a team in the first known separation of conjoined twins joined at the back of the head. He even performed the first successful neurosurgical procedure on a fetus in utero, developed innovative treatments for brainstem tumors, and revitalized techniques for hemispherectomy to control seizures. He retired from medicine in 2013, having served as a professor of neurosurgery, oncology, plastic surgery, and pediatrics at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. 12. Jesse Ernest Wilkins SRT number 12. We have a trailblazer in American history. Wilkins was a U.S. lawyer and labor leader who made significant strides in civil rights and government during the Eisenhower administration. As the first African American appointed to a sub-cabinet position, he also became the first to attend cabinet-level meetings at the White House. Wilkins pursued mathematics at the University of Illinois before attending the University of Chicago Law School in the 1920s. After practicing law for several years, he joined the Eisenhower administration. Wilkins's legacy extends beyond government service. He was the first African American to serve on the 9-member Judicial Council of the Methodist Church and later became its president. He also represented the U.S. on the governing body of the International Labor Organization. 11. Ruth M Gyan-Darkwa. Coming up next is Ruth M Gyan-Darkwa, an academic prodigy from Ghana who is breaking barriers and setting records. Ruth became the youngest university graduate in Africa after enrolling in a Bachelor of Science program in mathematics at the prestigious Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at just 13 years old. She is now pursuing a Ph.D. in electrical and computer engineering at the University of New Mexico, making her the youngest person ever admitted to that university at the doctoral level. At just 10 years old, Ruth was studying general science, and she completed her secondary education in 2017 at the impressive age of 12.10. Moses West T number 10 is Moses West, a retired African-American Army captain and innovator. With his groundbreaking invention, the atmospheric water generator, West has created a device that extracts moisture from the air and turns it into clean, drinkable water. This technology condenses water vapor from humidity, collects it, and filters it for safe consumption. Even the military has recognized the importance of AWGs, utilizing them to produce fresh water in remote locations around the world. After retiring from the military, he created the AWG and founded Atmospheric Water Generator Contracting LLC. West's patented technology efficiently pulls water from the air, producing clean water in regions with humidity levels above 20%. 09. Percy Julian. Next up, we have Percy Levon Julian, an American chemist whose work paved the way for life-saving treatments for glaucoma. In 1973, Julian was elected to the National Academy of Sciences, becoming the second African American to achieve this honor. Julian's significant contributions to the pharmaceutical industry included the synthesis of the natural product physostigmine and large-scale production of human hormones from plant sterols, dramatically reducing costs for steroids and expanding access to essential drugs, including synthetic cortisone and birth control pills. 08. Katherine Johnson. Then we have the Katherine Johnson, a mathematician and one of NASA's first black female scientists, whose extraordinary calculations played a pivotal role during the space race. Known as a human computer, She was instrumental in ensuring the safe return of astronauts Alan Shepard and John Glenn from their historic missions. Johnson's remarkable intellect contributed to major space endeavors, including Apollo 11 and Apollo 13. Throughout her career, Johnson co-authored 26 scientific papers, and in 1999, she was honored as West Virginia State College's Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. 07, Gladys West. Moving on to Gladys West, a name that deserves to be celebrated, especially when we consider the GPS technology we rely on every day. As a mathematician at the U.S. Naval Proving Ground, West developed Earth models that were instrumental in creating the Global Positioning System, GPS. Her work revolutionized navigation, transforming how we traverse the world. West's significant contributions remained largely unrecognized until a member of her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, highlighted her accomplishments in a biography for an alumni event. As an alumna of Virginia State University, West was recognized as Female Alumna of the Year at the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Awards in 2018.06, Edward Bouchet. Coming up next is Edward Bouchet, who made history as the first African American to earn a Ph.D. from Yale in 1876. His studies in physics laid important groundwork in the field. Despite his remarkable achievements, Bouchet faced racial discrimination that prevented him from pursuing a research career, highlighting the challenges he endured. He was also one of the first 20 Americans, regardless of race, to earn a Ph.D. in physics. 05, Annie J. Easley. Next up we have Annie Easley, a mathematician and computer scientist who made significant contributions to NASA over her remarkable 34-year career. She was instrumental in developing technologies for spacecraft launches, including John Glenn's historic flight in 1962. Easley's early work involved running simulations at NASA's Plum Brook Reactor Facility, where she studied the effects of rocket launches on Earth's ozone layer. A self-taught programmer, Easley even mastered languages like Fortran and SOAP to enhance her simulations. Her expertise extended to coding for alternative power technologies, including batteries and fuel systems, which later influenced hybrid vehicles and NASA's Centaur upper stage rocket. 04, Walter Lincoln Hawkins, number 04. We have Walter Lincoln Hawkins, a chemist and engineer who transformed telecommunications with his creation of a durable plastic sheath for telephone wires. Hawkins dedicated 34 years to Bell Laboratories, where his pioneering work enabled the expansion of telephone services to countless Americans, particularly in rural areas. His advancements in polymer chemistry laid the groundwork for many modern technologies still in use today. 03. Benjamin Banneker. Moving on to Benjamin Banneker, a remarkable self-taught mathematician, astronomer, and naturalist. Banneker had minimal formal education but became a brilliant mind in his fields. He is best known for his precise astronomical predictions, including those of a solar eclipse. Banneker also played a pivotal role in the planning of Washington, D.C., working alongside Major Andrew Ellicott to survey the original borders of the nation's capital. His expertise in astronomy also enabled him to publish a successful series of almanacs that educated and entertained the public. 02, Lonnie Johnson, number 2. We have Lonnie Johnson, a brilliant NASA engineer and the mastermind behind the Super Soaker. With over 250 patents to his name, Lonnie's career spans from toy inventions to significant contributions to space missions like Galileo and Cassini. He excelled academically, attending Tuskegee University, where he earned a B.S. in mechanical engineering and a master's in nuclear engineering. After serving in the U.S. Air Force, he joined NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 1979. The Super Soaker was originally conceived during his time at the U.S. Air Force and became a household name after its release in 1990, generating $200 million in sales in its first year. 01, George Washington Carver. Last but not least, we have George Washington Carver. Born into slavery in 1864, he emerged as one of the most transformative agricultural scientists in history. Renowned for his work in soil restoration and crop rotation, Carver revolutionized farming practices in the southern U.S. His innovative introduction of peanuts, soybeans, and sweet potatoes not only improved soil quality but also significantly boosted farmers' productivity. He invented over 300 products from peanuts, including cooking oil, flour, and even cosmetics, and even developed numerous sweet potato products. And there you have it, the 25 most intelligent black people who ever lived. But this list isn't comprehensive, so let us know if there are any names we missed in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more, and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos.